What's good with you two? A convict's perspective. It's your boy Flacco coming live and direct with Senor Rojo and with a little bit of energy. You already know. Man, we got one coming, man. As you guys can see, I'm in my car just posted, man, just doing my thing. As you know, I'm getting prepared to do a lot of changes in my life, man. But we got a good one for you guys here, man. A recent indictment, man. Um, Involving one Salvador Castro, gangster, man. It was a big indictment, hit a lot of different counties. A lot of people were affected by this, man. Ro is going to read a particular case that we found that we think pretty much sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, man, a lot of you guys have been asking for stuff about Tulare County down there in Kern County, all the homeboys a little farther down south, man, and we finally found a good one. This one's known as Operation Red Reaper. And we got this article, and this is courtesy of the Sun Gazette. Not familiar with it, but anyway, here we go. Federal, state, and local law enforcement arrest high-ranking members, street thugs, in an effort to dismantle multinational drug and gun trafficking business in Kings and Tulare counties. Hanford, California. A multinational meth ring run by California's most notorious gang was brought down last week in Kings and Tulare County following a major operation involving local, county, state, and federal enforcement agencies. Known as Red Reaper, the operation severed ties between high-ranking members of the Nuestra Familia prison gang who orchestrated gun and drug trafficking from their cells. I can't talk. And the Norteño street gang who executed the criminal activity at their will. The multi-agency operation, which arrested nearly 100 gang members in Kings, Tulare, Kern, and Fresno County, was announced at a news conference in Kings County on June 19th. Speaking on behalf of the Sheriff David Robinson, Kings County Assistant Sheriff Robert Thayer said just before 6 a.m. on June 18th, hundreds of law enforcement personnel from the local, county, state, and federal levels, backed by surveillance, tactical, and air support, served 55 search warrants in Kings, Tulare, Kern, and Fresno. Since September, the multi-agency operation has arrested 96 gang members, seized 74 firearms, 14 of which were fully automatic, kits to convert semi-automatic weapons to fully automatic, thousands of rounds of ammunition. Those arrested were high-ranking members of the Nuestra Familia prison gang, as well as every level of organized crime, from street dealers to heads of the Norteño street gang. Their alleged crimes, excuse me?
I said, well, that's key right there to all levels, all the way to street dealers.
Yeah. Their alleged crimes range from drug possession to drug trafficking and from robbery to murder. We have dismantled, to the best of our current abilities, the upper ranking of this structure, and we hope to pray now for a peaceful summer in the months to come, Thayer said. If there was any doubt as to the gang's itch for violence, Thayer pointed out that 3 men who were supposed to be part of an early morning sweep were actually taken into custody earlier that day during an officer-involved shooting. Tulare County Sheriff Mike Bordeaux said almost half the search warrants, 21, were served in Tulare County. 16 people were arrested. Thousands of rounds of ammunition were confiscated in Tulare County alone, in addition to drugs and numerous guns. Today's operation was a win for the good guys, Sheriff Mike Bordeaux said at a news conference. Sheriff Bordeaux said, Tulare County got involved in the operation last December when the Kings County Sheriff's Office notified him that many of the crimes in Kings County were being committed by gang members in Tulare County. Sheriff Bordeaux recognized that many of the names were people already known to the Sheriff's Department, but who they had insufficient evidence to arrest. The 2 sheriffs decided to combine their resources as part of the operation. These gangs are not going to go away, and we have to be diligent in the fight. I want every gang member to hear that law enforcement locally, we will be coming for you. When asked why gangs are targeting Kings and Tulare County, Bordeaux said several factors contributed to the consistent gang activity in the area. He says that there is a federal prison in Fresno County, so many ex-cons end up calling the area home. And just like legal shipping, Highway 99 is a pipeline for every facet of illegal activity from drugs to guns. There's a base for that here. Because of that, they live and thrive in our communities. 21 of those arrested have already been charged with federal felonies. U.S. Attorney McGregor Scott said that the investigation uncovered the Nuestra Familia was responsible for a large-scale trafficking of methamphetamine and other controlled substances, as well as various firearms offenses and other violent crimes throughout the 4 counties. According to court documents, high-ranking Nuestra Familia members, 49-year-old Salvador Castro, aka Old Man, who really goes by gangster, as Flaco pointed out, and Raymond Lopez, 31, used contraband cell phones from inside Fresno County's Pleasant Valley State Prison to arrange the transport of illicit narcotics from drug sources in California and Mexico to a stash house in Kings County. From that stash house, gang members outside the prison coordinated the preparation and delivery of the drugs to distributors throughout Kings and Tulare County. The complaint charges 6 Visalia men, including Jesse Juarez, 28, and Daniel Juarez, 27, Michael Rocha, 36, Angel Montes, 23, Rafael Lopez, 28, and Raul Lopez Jr., 48, with federal drug distribution crimes. This coordinated law enforcement operation highlights how federal, state, and local law enforcement partners can work together to target gang activities that make our communities dangerous. When we work together in this way, we are more effective in achieving our shared goal of ensuring public safety. We are committed to combating and reducing violent crime and drug trafficking both inside and outside of the prison walls. Assistant attorneys Kimberly Sanchez, Laurel Montoya, and Justin Calillo are prosecuting the case. The fear and violence that criminal street gangs are perpetrating in our communities cannot be tolerated, said the Attorney General in a release statement. We will continue to collaborate with our federal and local partners to reduce crime and keep our communities safe. The Sacramento FBI Field Office Special Agent in Charge, Sean Reagan, said the FBI pulled in over 200 agents from field offices across California and Nevada for the June 18th operation. That was in addition to countless officers, agents, investigators, and attorneys from the Hanford, Lemoore, Avenal, and Corcoran police departments, Tulare and Kings County Sheriff's offices, and the FBI Sacramento Field Office, California Department of Justice, California Highway Patrol, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and the Kings and Tulare County District Attorney's offices. The DEA, ATF, and the U.S. Marshal Service, as well as Homeland Security investigations, all assisted with the takedown. The FBI is dedicated to disrupting and dismantling gangs through intelligence-driven investigations, new and long-standing initiatives and partnerships with state, local, federal, and transnational. Special Agent in Charge Reagan said, "Yesterday's effort exemplifies our commitment to working with our partners to reduce the impact of gang violence and crime in the communities we serve." The case was part of an organized crime drug enforcement task force. The case was part of an organized crime drug enforcement task force. The OCDF program was established in 1982 to conduct comprehensive, multi-level attacks on major drug trafficking and money laundering organizations. This is the 3rd operation of the task force in the Valley. The last 2 were known as Operation Street Sweeper and Operation Red Soul. This is the 3rd time in the last decade we have come together to take out the Nuestra Familia gang in Tulare County. I can assure if we have to come back a 4th time, we will. Wow.
Man.
They put a lot of resources into that operation, boy.
You know, what is something that, there's one thing that sticks out. Do you see it, Roel?
What's that?
The location of the prison, the location of where the indictments happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm starting to wonder if certain prisons right now that they're back on the main lines, now that they're spread out throughout California, now that all that's occurring, right? I'm wondering if you're placed in a certain prison like New Folsom, right? You know what I'm saying? I think more towards that area was like Modesto and all that area. You had a puppet who was running that regiment out there, right? Now you have out there in Kings County, you have Gangster there, who's probably the most seasoned and most experienced C that's on that yard. If they're allowing people who are close to those jurisdictions, prisons, that they're giving them those regiments, because now they have more access to the streets, they have more access to control, they have access to visits, they have access to cell phones. You get what I'm saying? Now, not only are they having product that's going out there on the streets with the street regiments, but they have product coming in. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm.
The common denomination. You know what I mean? Like, You know, since he's right there in Kings County in Pleasant Valley, they gave him basically jurisdiction. So it's up to him to establish that regiment out there and work parallel with the prison. That's what I'm seeing just from, you know what I mean, how I know how the organization works. And now that they're out there on the main lines, that's the first thing that I'm seeing with this indictment.
The introduction of the cell phone to the easy access of inmates has changed the game.
Yeah. Most
Back
definitely.
in our time, we weren't getting no cell phones, man. It wasn't happening. There might be one per institution, you know?
Well, everything was basically headquartered to the Bay. I mean,
Yeah.
corporate may have a little bit of jurisdiction to have a few street crews out there in the streets, right? But basically all the regiments were being controlled basically by the Bay, depending on who you fell under. If you were falling under the GLP, the GAO, or the SRG, because everybody has somewhat jurisdiction up there, man. Now they're branching out, and it's almost like they're giving people jurisdiction to the areas because they're allowing the streets and prison to run parallel together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they weren't playing around with this indictment, man. I mean, look how many people that they got, 200 agents. And that wasn't including local law enforcement, man.
Yeah, no, they spent a lot of money on this, man. So, they're definitely going to be going for some slam dunks, man, if they invested all that time and resources. And, the bottom line is obviously the taxpayer dollar. They got, man, that's crazy, man.
But the thing was is that they had all the details. They must have had someone that had a recorded phone line or something, or they must have been able to tap into their sources. I mean, that hasn't been exposed. If there's any viewers here that know about this case or got caught up in it, please let us know. But the way they were operating everything, man, like they were trying to be incognito. I heard that they had cars following other cars for security procedures to traffic the drugs. They were going out to LA, out to the border of Mexico, and they were transporting back and forth. You know what I mean? And they just didn't take the top. They took everybody all in between. You know what I'm saying? The street level dealers as well. And this is a common theme. And what we try to stress out there in our message is that you may think that you're playing a minimal role assisting someone, but just based upon association, man, you can get caught up in a federal RICO case. And what makes this whole case kind of interesting, man, it happened at a very crucial time, man. This was right after the incident happened with Mateo. You know what I'm saying? Right there at Pleasant Valley. I think about a year later they got indicted. Mateo and Chino from Oakland, they had that whole skirmish out there in the yard. They hit Mateo, then the people responded to Mateo. They ended up hitting Chino. And the funny thing about it, I'm not gonna say it's funny, man. The thing that's kind of crazy is after all this money that is put into this investigation, you know where Gangster's house right now? He's back at Pleasant Valley. You know what I mean? Apparently from what I was told, man, I mean, I could be wrong, but I was told by someone that he's in that state currently right now. And when all this was occurring was when the feds were kind of trying to reach out to him, as we remember the True Filter, to be one of those C's that takes a stand for the feds. You know what I mean? So I don't know where this is going to play into the fold now. You know what I'm saying? So he's kind of in an interesting predicament. I mean, gets indicted on a federal case, but they're bringing him back to do a state time.
Yeah, man, that doesn't make a lot of sense, man. But I mean, it all depends on how they want to charge it, whether they allow the current state case to supersede and do your time in the state that you're already doing, or if they want to move you. I mean, it's totally up to the discretion of how they work together and what deals are struck. You know what I mean? If for some reason they don't want him to go to the feds, he ain't going to go to the feds, whether he gets convicted federally or not. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to the way they do things, man. They figure out what they think is best, and that's just what they accomplish,
Well, they've been doing that a lot. The recent federal cases, they've been, instead of sending them to the feds, they've been indicting them on federal cases, right? And it's just to disrupt their organization.
Yeah.
And then those who, after they're done with their state time, they've been sending to the feds. But people who are in leadership roles, I guess they learned from Operation Black Widow. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was getting at.
As soon as they indicted all these guys, they thought that, okay, we cut the snake's head off. You know what I mean? A new state's going to grow, but they're never going to be the same. Now they expanded, man. So now when they're indicting people on a federal right, they're making sure you do your state time first. And then that fed time's there right after.
Yeah, the feds are like, we don't want them guys. Now we got to chase them around in Kentucky and West Virginia. And now, man, leave them dudes in California.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a hell of a case, though, man. That involved so many different jurisdictions and regiments, and I mean, who knows how they have the regiment set up nowadays? That could have been one regiment, man. But they're
Well,
they're
I think
they're in
you know
trouble.
I think they're doing it more sub factions. You know what I mean? As far as smaller regiments now,
Yeah,
but you know what I mean, like smaller street crews. They're kind of, you know what I mean, like they're using street crews, but they're considering basically regiments, and they're trying to isolate them from each other. You know what I'm saying? They
doesn't
only
seem
want
like it worked.
2 to 3 man squads basically is the minimal that they want to have. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have big squads to where you have one regiment and too many people in one place, man. So that's why they have to spread them out. You know what I'm saying? So you may have 2 or 3 people in Kings County that are running that regiment, or it may be particular cities nowadays. Because I know in San Jose, every hood has to contribute a certain amount of money nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Well, they're able to have more control because of the influence of members that they have out there. So in Kings County and Tulare County, let's keep it 100 on these areas, right? Those are Norteño strongholds. They're very, very small communities in the senses of like Salinas. So they're able to have a stronghold presence, and it's an area to where the Norteños are going to be in control. So any type of criminal enterprise that's going on out there, they're going to be able to have the manpower, the foot soldiers to put into play. It's not like areas to where, like, the East Bay or Sacramento, to where, yeah, there's homeboys out there, they have regiments, but they also have to compete against other groups out there in the drug trade. Out there, they don't have to. They got all the foot soldiers, you know what I'm saying, to put in play regiments and crews out there to generate that money. So therefore, they have a stronger presence out there. So this doesn't surprise me. I mean, one bit, because Kings County and Tulare County, they've always had some strong regiments out there. You know what I'm saying they're smaller cities, but they have a lot of foot soldiers, man. And they've done a lot of recruiting out of those areas. They've recruited a lot of NF members, a lot of bros out of those areas. And a lot of them come out and they're willing to assist. There's always going to be someone who wants to come out there and ascend to a position if it's given to them. Whether they're C or not, they're going to have someone out there who's taking care of business.
What a lot of people probably haven't thought about or don't really realize too is, man, every time you send somebody to the feds, they're going to get around, not only with a chance to recruit new Northerners into the fold or whatnot, but you're also giving them guys access to talk to high-level cartel people from other states, you know what I mean, that they can, network with and, come to agreements with and stuff. And so the network will only get stronger every time you send them to the feds. There's just a different, level of person in the feds, especially as far as like trafficking goes and things of that nature. You're handing them resources,
Yeah, the ventures that are opened up now that could be put into play now are like extremely, extremely big, man. I mean, I think the street regiment business is not even as much of a focus, man. I think that they can control the drug trade and the money that comes in by just taxing these hoods. I think that where the money is at is in prison right now.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of money, and people aren't getting indicted for doing business inside of prison. You know what I'm saying? That's where the safety precautions must be. You can make more money in prison, man. So I mean, as long as they keep establishing these regiments, man, what's going to happen is it's been the same cycle of events. It's happened over and over again. People are getting indicted over and over again. You know what I'm saying? There's two things that continue to bring down the organization point blank. It's one is anytime there start to whack people out there in the streets, there's going to be a wave of indictments every time. It always happens. You know what I mean? MC, Brown Bob, all that, man. Indictments came right after. Or when the regiment starts to focus mainly on the drug trade. Eventually, someone's going to get caught up in that drug trade. Someone's going to tell. Someone's going to do this. Someone's going to have some type of misgivings. Someone's going to feel betrayed, and this is the end result that you have. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, think about this too, Flox. What about the guy out on the streets, right? He's just out there hustling for himself. He's got a little product. He's out there making it happen. He gets pushed up on by somebody, and now all of a sudden he's got to start paying a little bit of, let's call it, tribute to somebody else. He gets caught up slanging dope, and they find out he's moving money. he's going down as part of that regiment.
Well, that's happened. That happened in San Jose. That happened to some cat named Flip. You know what I'm saying? Some cat named Flip from San Jose, Felipe. You know what I'm saying? The homies kept on pressing. Every time there were C's out there, they would press up on him, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to kick in. We know you're doing big things. You have to, kick us down with your plug. You know what I mean? And he would try to, like, he even got burnt by some of the carnales out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he kept on deciding to assist here and there, man. And next thing you know, he's getting indicted, bro. And they hit him with a fucking gang enhancement, as an ANF associate. You know what I'm saying? When for years he was trying to do his own business, out there in San Jose on his own, making the product, pushing it out there in the streets. He had his own auto body shop, all these good things that were going, man. But because of his association, because they wanted product from him, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I brought that up, man. That's just like a lesson to people that it's real easy to get caught up with these huge indictments and stuff, this and that, even if you're not a member, and that's the point that we steady try to reiterate, in our message is be careful out there, man. Be careful. Make sure the decisions you make are ones that you're willing to stand behind, because the consequences could become catastrophic. Even if you think you're not in something, man, it takes one little bad incident, bro, and you're going to the feds.
All you got to do is look at name after name after name and result after result after result. All people who are balling, who decided to get into this lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's just there's only a few things that can happen. Either you're gonna catch life sentence, you're gonna die, or you're gonna debrief.
Or you're gonna end up in the hat.
One or the other. From the Blancos back in the days, their association with the NF, they ended up getting caught up, to the one cat I just mentioned, and other individuals, your boy Mexican Mike, that lifestyle only leads to certain results, man. You know what I'm saying?
I always try to challenge people out too. I'm like, give me one example of somebody who had this career and this lifestyle work out good for them. Name one.
None.
Name one.
You know what I mean?
You name one, I'll shut my ass up if you name one example of somebody in this lifestyle that went out successfully.
But there's always that person who steps out there who's been laced up and has that fire in their heart, and they think that they're going to be able to do it different, bro.
Oh, I'm not going to get caught.
You know what I mean? I thought I was going to be that person out when I got out there. Oh, I'm going to do everything different, man. I'm going to establish these crews. Nobody in my crew is going to tell. I'm going to treat them all right, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be able to push and establish these resources. I'm going to be able to do all this, man. You know what I'm saying?
Every last one of us who's got out has thought that exact damn thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We get this facade in our head of what we think it's supposed to be like and how it's going to be for us, but we don't think of all the consequences and what can actually occur. Or we do, but we think that we're too smart. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, and if any one of us were honest with ourselves and really sat down and thought about it, we'd know we were full of shit.
That's the reality of it too. That's true.
Straight up. Like it or don't like it, I'm gonna tell it real.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, man. We thought this case was interesting. We've been trying to check out all these cases, man, because there's a lot of interest in them in a lot of different areas. But the result is all the same. Federal indictments. Only one or two of these people are ever real members. The other 100 are just regular ass people, just like you guys out there. You know what I mean? Pay attention. It's your boy Rojo. Guys, have a good one.